and welcome back to the Imperfectly Thriving podcast with your host, me, Laura. I always feel like I say that like, it's me, Laura. People know, obviously, if you know me from Instagram and you are from there, then I am Laura from Instagram. However, I am thriving with Laura if you do not. So today we are going to cover a pretty strong topic, I would say, and it's a really important one, especially for like this time of January, where we sat currently, a few weeks in. You're probably tripping yourself up, life is maybe lifing a little bit, and you're maybe wanting to hit the quit button on your goals, hit that epic button. And I really just kind of wanted to talk about the reason why you're not going to and the reason why you want to, and how to kind of understand a lot around the mindset around wanting to quit and wanting to get away from the things that feel uncomfortable, because that's what it is ultimately, isn't it? And we're going to talk about what you need to hear to stop quitting on your goals. So you know that it's the month, it's January, right? It's the month of new goals. It's the month of New Year's resolutions. It's the month of starting new things. And especially maybe if you've gone hard on a diet in January, like you've gone all guns blazing and trying to fast 3 days a week. You've gone in on a shake diet. You've gone in on trying to reduce down ultra processed foods and only eat whole foods, or only eating organic, or whatever it may be. You might have even tried to start 75 hard, and you are currently maybe 26 days in and feeling like, oh my God, how on earth am I meant to continue this? I'm only a third of the way through. I get it. I understand. And I think the thing to remember, and it's this whole toxic thing of like, I hate those PTs who are like, you just don't want it hard enough. You just aren't willing to work hard enough. And it's like, go hard or go home. I'm sick of that. I'm sick of shouty males on podcasts and on podcast clips who don't even have their own podcast, posting them on Instagram. But that is a topic for another day, right? But the thing is, it's not a fact. It's not a matter of you don't want it hard enough. It's not that it's go hard or go home and, you're not capable of achieving your goals. But that is what your brain is telling you right now, isn't it? The reason you're quitting is because it's starting to get uncomfortable. You're starting to believe every thought that's showing up, and you're starting to recognize some of those old patterns that always happen when you give up. So you're feeling tired, right? Especially if you've done any of the above diets that I have mentioned. Of course it's tiring. You're trying to work out every single day. You're in a calorie deficit where you're not eating enough food, probably, especially if you're fasting, right? Like fasting it's just one of those things that you don't need to do it. Yeah, there may be benefits that maybe for like last for 12 hours, but after that the benefits go, and you don't reset your metabolism, right? Like that does not happen. Your metabolism always working. In fact, what you do when you fast, you slow it down. So actually, it's not a good thing. Like metabolic adaptation is not working the right direction for you. So if you're trying fasting, because I can see a lot of it going on my feed at the minute, that is my message to you. Don't do it. It's going to make you grouchy. But I know that you're feeling tired, you're unmotivated because it's grey and it's dark and it's like the 12th day that it's rained now, and I've not seen the sun in a very long time, and I know that it is boring, it's unmotivating. There's no big get up and go at the minute, is there? Because it's just another day in January where everything is a bit boring. Like, you're doing the same stuff, you're going to the gym, and there's not massive movements like there maybe were in week 1, when the scale does drop dramatically, because what's happening is the glycogen stores that your body has had, the energy in stored muscle, it's dwindled, that's gone. The water retention, it's gone down, and that's mostly what the first week or 2 of scale drops is. And now it's starting to level off a bit. So you're telling yourself it's not working, right? You're bored. The meal plan isn't working. It's what's happening, right? You're starting to beat yourself up. And you're human at the end of the day. Like, of course, you'd be silly if you weren't questioning it. You're clever, and that's the thing. You're smart and you're clued up, and this is exactly why you're questioning it, because you're thinking, surely the efforts I'm putting in should be showing up more now, right? And the thing is, it's understanding that like you have to have belief in yourself, right? There's a lot of thoughts and feelings that will come into your brain, especially if you have tried to lose weight before, especially if you have tried to get into a good gym routine before, if you've tried to change your lifestyle, but you gave in, but you failed. And all that your brain remembers is that this is what happened last time. This is what we tried. This is how far we got. And then the thoughts crept in and we failed, right? So all you've got to go off is that terrible experience, isn't it? Where you didn't actually get to where you wanted to be. And that's now like one of your core emotions, core feelings around this, is that as soon as that discomfort shows up, then what happened last time? Well, I gave in and I stopped moving forwards and I threw the towel in, right? And I just went back to the old habits. And then all that did for me was it ruined my confidence even more, because the confidence that you had in yourself while you were doing a plan, while you were, eating well and looking after yourself and going to the gym, the confidence you had from doing that, doing hard stuff, it then went because you gave into those thoughts and feelings of, I'm not good enough, I'm not working hard enough, I don't deserve this, right? And that is the thing, that you have to believe in yourself and you can't give in to that little devil on your shoulder. I talked about this in the last podcast, the Q&A that I recorded for the Girls on Thrive. And I talked about like how important it is to just kind of recognize when there's that little devil on your shoulder, as I call her Felicia, who gives me back chat all day long, and she tells me, just another chocolate, just order that pizza. And she's like constantly testing me. But we have a fight every day and I tell her to shut up and I always win, right? And that's it. Like, you have to recognize that those thoughts and feelings are coming from Felicia. They're coming from that little devil on the shoulder who wants to keep you safe, who wants to keep you stuck, okay? And you have to believe that you can do it and that you can push past those things. Of course, if you're doing something that you can't stick to for a long time, like a juice diet, like cutting out carbs, like no sugar, like something that is bloody daft, then of course, no matter how much self-belief you've got in the world, then you're not going to get far, because your energy is going to be zero. You're going to be running on empty and you're going to feel like a shell of yourself. Let's be honest. Like, it's not something that you can keep up for long enough to see the results of fat loss. I don't like to say that, fat loss should be sustainable or a diet should be sustainable, because the whole point of a diet is not to be on it forever. And that's where a lot of people end up getting stuck. You end up yo-yoing because you start something and you go hard to begin with, and then you ease off a little bit, and then you might just start like introducing meals out and and then you fall off track. You give in and end up back at square one, and then you're like, oh, back to the diet, and then you spend another week going through the same cycle and And what should actually be happening is that you should spend less time dieting, but you should do it properly, right? You should do it properly to get in and out of that diet as quick as possible, because most of your time needs to be spent maintaining or building, right? This is what we want. We want that toned appearance. We want to look strong. We want to get good in the gym, and we want to have above average results. Above average results do not come from yo-yo dieting all year round. They do not come from just going back to diet all the time. You have to get to a point where you can sustain the results. And that's the thing, like, a diet should not be sustainable because you should not be on low calories forever. However, your goal should be to get in and out of that and to stop dragging it out. And this podcast is going to talk about a lot of the reasons why you are dragging it out. And it's because of the belief. It's because of the lack of belief in yourself. Like, some days you feel focused and driven and you rely on motivation, and other days things might feel heavy, things might feel pointless, and it might be difficult to do things because you're like, oh, the scales have not moved the day the way that I wanted to, and they should have moved because actually I did things right. So why are they not moving? So why bother, right? And if we just react to the scales like that, if we base our decision off how you feel that day, you wake up, you feel rubbish, you slept rubbish, you choose to not go to the gym, you choose to, because you've not gone to the gym, you choose to fall into that all or nothing mentality, and you choose to not show up for yourself, and you stop tracking and you don't go for a walk, then of course consistency isn't going to come, because how can you be consistent if you're just following the mood? Like, let's be honest, especially the mood in January, it's 99% miserable. Now, if you follow 99% miserable, you're not going to get the results that you want, because we need consistency and we need you to follow the program, not the mood. Following the mood doesn't get you results, right? Because the mood isn't good enough. It's not, let's be honest, okay? Especially at this time of year. So you have to believe yourself and show up for yourself even when you feel flat. Even when you don't believe in yourself and you think, I'm not feeling very strong today. Well, that's okay. We go to the gym, we lower the expectations, like we just go in and we do what we can. Okay. Some days, if you only have 40% to give and you gave 40% in the gym, then that's what matters. Other days when, yeah, you're motivated and you're buzzing and you have 100% to give 100%. All that matters is that you try your best and you lower the expectations around, okay, I may not be getting PBs on every session today, but I'm still going to push it and try the best that I can, because that's what matters. It's trusting the process when results aren't that obvious yet, especially where we're at now in January. Like I say, when things do slow down on the scale a bit, well, does that mean that you just throw the towel in and you tell yourself it's not working? No, because what worked 2 weeks ago is also going to work now, right? And if it isn't, then of course you maybe need to revisit the plan and think, okay, is there something that's changed? Is it that, of course, when we do talk about losing weight and we lose more and more weight, that metabolic adaptation happens. Of course, your metabolism will adjust to support a smaller body. Now, is that happening in week 3 of a diet? Probably not. So you probably don't need to adjust your calories, but you probably just need to look at, okay, am I sticking to things as well as I could be? You know, am I weighing my food? Am I measuring things? Am I getting my steps in? Am I, doing my workouts like I've said I am? And, am I sticking to things the best that I can? Am I not missing things out of tracking? Like, as long as you're doing those things and trusting that a calorie deficit will get you results, then it will come. Okay, not changing the plan every time something feels hard, not just thinking, oh, because the scales rose yesterday, I'm not going to eat today. I'm just going to live off lettuce today. Like, don't be so silly. How are you going to go in the gym and push and get strong and protect that muscle and even have a chance of growing some muscle if you're going in the gym and eating lettuce because you're annoyed that the scales have had a rise? Like, the fluctuations on the scales are normal, but what you have to recognize is that you can't have a flippant response to that you can't just sod it off just because the scales didn't do what you wanted that day, because the scales aren't your worth, right? You cannot let that affect you and your mood for the rest of the day. You still show up and you still take action, even though things may not always be fluctuating the right way, because you can trust over time that fat loss will happen, right? So I think the thing is, it's like, it's a thing of, sometimes we tell ourselves, right, when it can get difficult and when we're a few weeks in, that, my body's tired, my energy's slumped, I feel rubbish, I'm not strong, I'm just going to listen to my body, right? Listening to your body, I get when you're poorly, right? Maybe when you've pushed hard in the gym and you're feeling really sore, but listening to your body isn't Netflix and chilling with a pizza. Listening to your body isn't just binging on cake and crisps and feeling miserable about it, because your body doesn't really want that. Let's be honest, right? Listen to your body can be an excuse. Sometimes, of course, yeah, I'm going to say, like, yeah, if you're poorly, then absolutely listen to your body. You need to rest. But listen to our body when things are getting uncomfortable and when you may not want to go to the gym because it's dark and cold and miserable. That is what you need to recognize and call yourself out on and be like, okay, come on. This is us knowing that we're pushing through discomfort, okay? So there's a line between, well, this is uncomfortable and this isn't working, okay? This is uncomfortable is good, because we know that things don't change in comfort zones. We don't push ourselves in comfort zones, right? The fact that it's uncomfortable is showing it's changing you, okay? It's challenging your previous beliefs. It's challenging your previous eating habits. It's challenging maybe some of the laziness that we had before, right? But it's not that it's not working, okay? It's just that you're challenging yourself, and challenge is good. So you've got to roll with that and believe that you can push through the uncomfortable, because that is where all the good stuff comes, from pushing comfort zones, from showing yourself how strong you feel and how proud of yourself. Like when you go to the gym and you don't want to, but you go and you have a really bloody good session, how good do you feel at the end? You are buzzed. You have the endorphins. You're like, oh my God, I can take on the day. I can win anything because I've just done something really difficult and hard. And I've shown myself that even when we don't want to do something, we still do it. And that is what builds self-belief. That is what shows you that you are a trusting person, that you can be relied upon, right? Because you can do hard stuff. And that is a really, really nice feeling for yourself. So yeah, we know that goals require repetition. They require a bit of boredom, the delayed gratification, the payoff that's not going to be immediate. But are you willing to be focused and patient for what you really want, right? That is where we have to be honest with ourselves, because Are you chasing the outcome, or are you willing to live the lifestyle that it requires? Okay. Are you okay being consistent before you feel confident? And that is a really important thing, especially when we talk about like building the confidence in the gym. You don't just immediately walk in the weights and feel confident. We know that. The confidence comes with consistency. The confidence comes with, yeah, I feel uncomfortable in the gym, in the weights, but I'm showing up anyway, because that's how I, expose myself to that area and I build confidence. And that is how I prove to myself that, yeah, even though this is scary, we're doing it. We can do scary things. And I'm getting over that self-limiting belief that I had before. And this is it. It's taking away the self-doubt and building the self-confidence in yourself. But the thing is, it's, impatience, it often disguises itself as, I need a new plan. This isn't working. When what is really needed is more time, more consistency, and more patience with yourself. And this is where how you talk to yourself matters, right? Like that literally ties everything together and makes sure that you keep showing up for yourself. So, when you quit, it's not about an action. It's the internal language, the dialogue that's happening in your brain. It's the thing of you start telling yourself, I'm always falling off track. I'm not disciplined enough. This is just too hard for me, right? That self-talk, it makes the quitting sound like the best option for you. It makes it sound inevitable because you've convinced yourself you can't stick to anything. You can't do it. So why bother, right? Why bother? Let's just give up and go back to square one, because that is easier than pushing through the discomfort right now, right? But we know that little devil on your shoulder, Felicia, is trying to self-sabotage you. And we have to talk around. And this is where how you talk to yourself matters. And it's the most important thing that you can do in order to help to build that self-respect in yourself, right? It's not about, right, you've got to do this, you lazy cow, because, we're overweight and we feel miserable and we've got to punish ourselves. Because doing that is moving from a place of disrespect, and we don't disrespect ourselves. This is about self-respect and self-compassion, right? Not beating yourself up, but pushing yourself gently to embrace these new challenges, okay? So you've got to think about flipping that mindset, telling Felicia to bugger off and being like, yeah, this is challenging. It's not impossible because I'm doing it. I'm living it right now. And I'm doing it. I'm showing up. And I know that this challenge now might feel difficult, but it's going to feel easier, because the more and more I do it, the more I build self-belief in myself, the more that I tell myself, look, we're walking the walk. We're showing up as that person who we want to be, we're not quite yet, because, we're still way off. We're still a few weeks off. We're only at the start of our journey. But if I keep doing this, I know that it's going to start filling me with confidence, because I'm already starting to feel better. I'm already feeling, better in my ability to do stuff and to push through hard times and to do stuff even though I don't want to. So I'm already building confidence in myself. And I know that I'm learning how to be consistent. I don't need motivation. I need follow through. I need to show up for myself and keep the promises that I made, right? And like we say, self-talk, it doesn't have to, be like, yeah, I'm the most amazing person on the planet. I am killing all my goals. Like, it doesn't have to be wishy-washy shit, right? It just needs to be honest and supportive to yourself, right? Yeah, this is challenging. I am finding it quite difficult. However, I'm pushing through these difficulties and I'm learning to manage things in ways that I haven't before. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And this is why I'm so big on celebrating those wins every single day, like 3 wins, write them down and be like, okay, what are my non-scale victories that I have achieved today? What am I proud of myself for? I've pushed through a difficult session in the gym. I ate really well, even though I wanted to have that chocolate. I actually had a little Freddo and I stopped at the little Freddo because I know that that's what's good for me and that's what aligns with my goals, but I'm still having a bit of chocolate, right? Doing those things and recognizing what is good in life, what have you done that you are proud of, is so important, okay? So the message is, you don't need more motivation. You don't need another set of trainers, another sports bra, a brand new watch, a new plan to motivate you. You just need belief on the days that your feelings try to talk you out of it, right? You need to ask yourself, it comes back to that question, the framing of, are you willing to be focused and patient for the thing that you really want? Yes, you bloody are, okay? And that's what you have to keep reminding yourself. Consistency is built in those moments where you don't have belief in yourself, but you do it anyway. It's not built in the easy ones when you're motivated and you're great and it's all singing and dancing, okay? And that is the message that I want you to take away with. Self-belief will take you places that self-doubt has never had you, okay? And this is where the magic happens. You don't magically just wake up one day being a certain number on the scale and feeling confident. You don't magically just wake up in a body that's, got a six-pack and all this and you suddenly don't doubt yourself anymore. It comes from choosing to align with your goals, choosing actions and showing up for yourself because you know that that's how future you wants to feel. And that's what we're doing it for, right? You're doing it for the you in summer who feels bloody proud that she stuck through it in January and that she pushed through those hard and dark days because now she's got more flexibility to go in the beer gardens and wear the crop tops and have a few pints and not have to worry about it because she's at a maintenance galleries and she's buzzing. That is what we're doing it for, right? So keep reminding yourself of that. Yes, it is hard, but what's harder is staying the same and staying stuck. And if you need some support on your journey, if you need that kick up the backside and that person to keep you accountable, to stop you from self-sabotaging and turning into that person who throws a towel in because you tell yourself, I can't do this, then I'm here for you. My one-to-one coaching spaces are open for January and February. I do have limited spaces because I will be taking a few of the girls on Thrive into one-to-one coaching, which is very exciting. But if you want to know more, if you want to chat about how I can help, please come and find me on Instagram. Send me a message at thriving.withlaura. If you're shy, it's all good. Just send me a hello. We'll take it from there. And let's get you feeling bloody amazing too.